Hi friends, it's Cindy from DIY Beautify, and today I've got a really special craft for you. We are going to make these Rae Dunn inspired gingham conversation hearts. Aren't they cute? Now, total disclaimer, you kind of need to have a silhouette or a Cricut machine if you want to get the Rae Dunn letters. But I'm going to show you how to do the buffalo check or gingham painted pattern on it. I have been working on a bunch of projects and most of them are Rae Dunn inspired because I love Rae Dunn, and just to make something cute to put with your mugs is really fun. I don't have any Valentine's mugs that are Rae Dunn, but I've made my own. You can see the back of this. This is the authentic mom Rae Dunn mug, and I've turned the back of it into this pattern. I've done a bunch of them for my kitchen, and I'm going to share that tutorial on my blog in a few days. I also went ahead and made a really cute set of these mini rolling pins. I know they're backwards for you. It says Blessed Mom and Bake. And I'll be sharing this tutorial on my blog as well. So I'll put the link for my blog down below and you can check it out. But today we're doing conversation hearts. I made these mini ones that are just so fun. I mean, I don't really like the candy conversation hearts, and I certainly don't need any additional sugar after coming off of Christmas. So these just add a really fun look to your kitchen, to your tiered tray display or whatever you plan to do. I just have them kind of stuck all over the place in my kitchen, and I'll be showing you that on my blog. But today I want to show you how to make these. So you're going to need to pick up a set of wood hearts. These are real thin. I've had these in my stash forever. I think they're from Michael's, but I could be wrong. Anyhow, I've already painted the front of them with white chalk paint. So that's what you want to do. You need some white chalk paint. You're also going to need pink of your choice. I'm actually going to be mixing these two colors to get my baseline, and then I'll be using just the darker pink for the little squares in the buffalo check pattern. You're going to need a small flat, can you see that? Flat head paintbrush. And I've got a couple others here to show you. The way that you decide what you want, which one's going to work for you. For instance, this one, when I press this on my wood, I can tell that the line is just going to be too thin. I wanted something wider. This one is actually a stencil brush, and it's just a little stiff. It doesn't have much give. So I came up with this one, and this one actually is the one I used for the completed hearts. And you can see that when I push it against, because we're going to be drawing with these, it doesn't like extend past the line. It just keeps a nice straight line. So that's the one I'm going to use. That is pretty much all you're going to need. I'm going to flip my phone around here and we're going to get started. You do also want some kind of a surface, something to protect your surface. I'm just working on a piece of cellophane that some of my vinyl was wrapped up in. So let's get started. So like I mentioned, I already have these painted white. So you're going to want to do that. And in fact, before I painted them, I used some sandpaper because they were a little bit rough, and they're actually still a little rough. I may just run over that again. So just use your sandpaper or your sanding sponge and smooth it out. That feels better. You don't want your brush to get hung up on little bits of wood. I painted these hearts just before I turned my camera on, and the reason they're dry already is I used chalk paint, which dries really fast, but I also used my heat gun to just go over them and make sure they were totally dry so that I could start this project. Okay, you're also going to need a paper plate or a piece of cardboard or something that you can put your paint on. And these types of projects don't take a whole lot of paint, but I'd rather have a little more than not enough. So we're going to do a dab of pink, and then I want to lighten that up a little bit, so I'm going to do just a little bit of white on top of that. I'm just going to use the back of my foam brush because I'm going to toss this anyway. Mix it up. And I'm just going off of these ones. You can see that the base lines are actually a little bit lighter than that. And I remember, I think I used a little peach in there too. So let me just grab that off my shelf. Sorry about that, I should have had that ready. This is just a little bit of, it's called Smitten, and it's a chalk paint by Deco. Let me wipe the end of this. Don't be afraid to mix paints. Mix and make your own colors. It really is easy, and you can customize pretty much anything. And the reason I like to add a little bit of this peachy color is it turns the pink more into a blush rather than just a true pink, and I like that. Okay, so let's get started. Let me just move this. I'll just leave that there. All right, so the first thing to do is we're going to do our vertical lines, and we're going to start in the middle, and then basically you're going to kind of measure the width of the brush and leave a space there, and then you're going to do your next line and just carry on. So I think we get 2 lines on each side of the middle one, and then we'll wait a minute and do the horizontal lines. So you don't want to overload your brush, just get a little bit of paint. Move that away so you can see what I'm doing. A little bit of paint on the tip. Whoops. All right, so I'm going to start in the middle and just draw it straight down. All right, so that's the very first line right in the middle. Don't be worried if part of it is lighter than, you know, another part. It's a handmade look, so we're not going for perfection here. All right, so I'm going to kind of eyeball what my white space should be, which is about the width of my paintbrush. And then I'm going to start my next line. And I kind of started off the heart. I made that one a little narrow, but that doesn't really matter. All right, and you can see I needed to go over it a second time just to get the bottom finished. I made buffalo check. I painted buffalo check mason jars using this same method, and I have that tutorial on my blog. In fact, I'll link to it below. So that side's done, and now we'll just do the next side. All right, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stripes. I'll go ahead and do another one. Let that one dry. So start at the top and just slowly draw your paintbrush straight down. If you have a hard time going straight and your lines are a little bit curvy, don't even worry about it. I mean, we're not going for perfection. You'll see when it's done, it'll be really cute. All right. We'll finish up this side. Ooh. I actually had a little bit extra paint on my brush, and it left some, I don't know, what do you even call it, like on the edge of the line. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of paint. I'm not worried about that because in the finished ones, that happened to me too, and it just kind of adds texture. So I'm not worried about that at all. Okay, I'm going to set the second one aside, and now we're going to do are vertical stripes. And I like to start at the bottom because that's where that little point is. And I want to leave a little bit of white space above the point. Okay, so you're doing the very same thing. You're just painting a stripe, but you're going the opposite way. And see how there's white right here and here? That just makes it look more like buffalo check. All right. So I'm just doing the same thing, just slowly drawing my brush straight across. And one more. And I think I'm going to need to do just a bit at the tip here, so my lines are all consistent. All right, so seriously, that was so fast and easy. Now we're not done because, as you can see, there's some darker pink squares, and that's what gives it the real true buffalo check feel, other than this just looks like gingham, which is super cute. So what I'm gonna do now is get some more of that pink paint, but just I'm gonna use it straight on. And let me go back to the inspiration piece. You can see that the dark, we're gonna go over parts of the stripe to make little squares that are darker, and they alternate. And if you look, you'll see the white is in the center, and at each corner there's a darker color. So that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm not even gonna clean my brush because it's pink, it's just a little darker. So just get a little bit on. And so I'm gonna find my corners of my white. So that would be this one here. And you're just gonna paint those. Now it's a little harder to get. In fact, I may switch to a smaller brush because my paint is wanting to jump outside of my lines. All right. You know what? I'm not super happy with that. I think I'm gonna switch over color-wise to this peachy color and just go right over top of it. Let's see if I like that better. These ones are the hardest ones to do because you're trying to paint a square shape on a little tiny surface, but I'm thinking I'm liking that better just for the contrast. So I'm going to continue painting every other square in this darker peach color. And like I said, you need very little paint, and you may want to switch to a smaller brush just to make it a little easier for yourself. All right. I'm going to finish doing that, and I'll show you how it looks when I'm done. All right, so I finished painting my hearts, and while I set them aside to dry, I got out my silhouette machine and cut out my words that I'm going to put on top. So some of the tools that make this really easy are this weeding tool. It's got a little hook at the end, and I'm not sure what this one is called, but this helps you scrape the vinyl. You could also use a credit card, but you definitely need transfer paper. This is just a sheet. I buy it by the roll, and I just keep it because I actually use it quite a bit. So you can't tell, but maybe you can see that word on there. So what I need to do is weed this by removing the vinyl that's around my word. So you just hook the little weeding tool till you grab a piece of vinyl and then slowly peel it off. and you can see I went with the word smooch. Now I also need to remove the center of the O's. So just do the same thing. Grab it and pull it off. Now I'm going to do this one here to reveal the word that I chose. I was trying to think of things I didn't already have. And this word I went with snuggle. So these are going to be tight, but the thing I like about Rae Dunn is her letters fill the object, whatever it is. For instance, the Yours mug. Her letters are tall and they're big and they're bold and they make a statement. So I didn't want to go with real skinny little letters. So the next thing to do is cut off a little piece of transfer paper. And you can reuse this stuff a couple times, so I'm going to use it for both. Just make sure that your design fits, and then you peel off the backing paper and throw that away. And the lined paper is the sticky stuff. So what you do is you center it and lay it flat on your word. You want to use that flat tool just to make sure that your vinyl, because what we're doing is we're removing the vinyl from the backing paper onto the transfer paper, which is see-through. And then you just peel that backing paper away. So now I have my design on my transfer paper, and it's super easy to see where it goes and make sure it's centered. This is going to be a tight squeeze on here. So I'm just making sure it fits, and it literally is going to barely fit, but that's okay. So you just press it down and then give it another squeeze with that tool. And now when you gently peel up a corner, your design should be stuck. If it's not, put this back and scrape it a little bit more, and then just peel it off. And we have snuggle. So I'm going to do the next one. And then I think I might take you on a tour of my kitchen so you can see the Rae Dunn inspired items I've made in my kitchen. So again, just scrape it on, peel it off, center it on your design. And then give it a little scrape to make sure that the vinyl adheres. And obviously you want to make sure that your painted project is good and dry before you do this, or else you're just going to have a mess. All right. So we have a bunch of easy Rae Dunn conversation hearts that are the popular buffalo check pattern in a pretty Valentine's pink. Let me know if you make these. I'd love to know if I inspired you. Thanks for all the comments that I've been getting on my projects. I do write a blog, DIYbeautify.com, and I will put that link below so that you can find me there. I've been blogging I'm in my 7th year, and I have literally hundreds of home decor projects and ideas. Let me just turn this up so you can see me again. I enjoy blogging I enjoy blogging, but I enjoy doing projects on a budget. So most of my crafts and DIYs are budget related and easy to do. Like I said, I will link to the buffalo check painted mason jars that I did in black and white below. So keep following, there's more to come. So I promised you that I would share some of my Valentine's ideas in my kitchen and some of the projects I was working on, as well as how I used those conversation hearts we just made. So let's get to it. I made this little tea towel for Valentine's yesterday. I used a dollar store buffalo check fabric, and it's removable. It's just held in place with the buttons. This is drop cloth. The hugs and the kisses are made with heat transfer vinyl, which is different from the vinyl that I used on my wooden hearts. I will share the full tutorial on my blog soon, either this week or next, so keep an eye out for that. All right, let's just swing around so you can kind of see. I've got black buffalo check, and I went with pink for Valentine's Day rather than the pink and the red. I don't like that color combo. So I received this tiered tray for Christmas, which I was super excited about, and I've never really decorated a tiered tray before, so I kind of went a little extravagant. But if you can't be extravagant for Valentine's Day, the season of love, when can you be, right? You can see, pardon me, you can see my conversation hearts and the little mini rolling pins that I was showing you. These marshmallow cups I got for Christmas also, and I love them. They're so adorable. So every single piece of Rae Dunn on this tray is fake, except for obviously the back. And I added that heart just to keep it a little more consistent. But I don't have any Valentine's Rae Dunn mugs, so I made my own using vinyl. I will share the tutorial on my blog. I even added a little heart to an ironstone plate. I love white ironstone, and I have quite a collection. Just move around here so you can see everything else. And up here on this cabinet, this actually started life as a craft cabinet. Back when I was a huge scrapbooker, I used it to store ribbon and jars of buttons and whatnot. But I haven't scrapbooked in years, and it made, I'll just back up so you can see, it made the perfect size cabinet for this wall on my kitchen. It holds ironstone, it holds Rae Dunn, it holds everything. All the mugs on here that you see that look like Rae Dunn, those are all my fakes, because Rae Dunn mugs have the handle on the right hand side. So those can all be scraped off when Valentine's is over, or I may just leave them. This sign I'll be sharing on the blog soon, how I made that. It's actually, I don't want to give too much away, but it's a double-sided sign. I found some socks at the Dollar Tree recently and kind of combined a bunch of different tutorials that I found to make this little sweet gnome. He literally cost me like, I think $2 to make. So if you think you would like that tutorial, please let me know in the comments and I will see what I can do. Some more cute things up there. Do you spot the, well, there's a real Rae Dunn plate up there. That's like my one Valentine's item that I actually own. But those metal cookie cutter hearts, I found several of them recently at IKEA. They're massive. That's my hand, and you can see just how big they are. I used a couple and just tied them with a ribbon to the back of my chairs. And I haven't quite decided what to do with the other ones yet, but I just want to walk you over here into my dining room. Sorry for my finger in the way. Usually it's blue and white in here. And for Valentine's Day, I added just a few little goodies on the table. I love layering my table settings. So I have these willow chargers, then a dinner plate, then a salad plate, and then these gingham napkins with the wood beaded napkin rings that I made yesterday. So head over to that video if you want to see how I made those. Really cute. And these little paper cups just got a little bit of Rae Dunn pizzazz too. Kept the centerpiece fairly simple with just some bottles and eucalyptus. And I'm going to be giving these chargers an interesting makeover in the next few days on my blog. So check that out. Be watching for that. You can always follow me at www.diybeautify.com. And if you subscribe to my blog, let me know here on YouTube. I'd love to know. Thank you.